Hello, this is Kenneth Vance from Rooftop Videos. I'm up here on the top, 5 miles from home or so, something like that, on top of a volcano. So everything you see here, pretty neat, huh? This is all volcanic rock. Boy, is it hard to climb this one. Had to do it all on foot. 5 miles, I gotta go back after this video. On foot. There's no way to get here with motorized transportation. Thought it would be fitting because I wanted to be up here today, say a special prayer. I'm going to go over the book of Joel and the army. And this is the frustration that I'm having. They're not reading verse 11 in Joel 2. They think this is an army of giants. That's not what Joel says here. So before I go into tell you about this army that's getting ready to come forth, it's going to wipe out this entire world. Verse 11, and the Elohim shall utter his voice before his army. It's talking about an army here, but they're saying it's an army of giants. If it's an army of giants, that's not the Father's army now, is it? For the Father's camp is very great. That's an army of giants is not great. Sorry. These mighty, just because uses the word mighty men, they automatically make it to be the giants of Genesis, and that's a pile of bull hockey. For he is strong that executes his word, for the day of the Elohim is great and very terrible, and who can abide it? So let's go back to the beginning. Let's see what kind of army we got. An army of 144,000 overcomers and all those that follow along with them. A day of darkness and of gloominess, a day of clouds and of thick darkness. As the morning spreads upon the mountains, a great people and a strong. There has not been ever the like, neither shall be any more after it, even to the years of many generations. Well, that's the giants. No, that's a Father's army. This world has never seen an army that's getting ready to burst forth onto the world scene. We're talking people, the first fruits unto Yah and the salvation in Revelation 12, those called according to his purpose, the manifestation of the sons of Yah, this is the people he's talking about. The first ones to make it past the finish line in the full restoration of all things, to be restored from everything that Adam and Eve had and lost. But they're the first to be restored back into it. And that includes all those miracles the king was able to do that we're about to start seeing. That's what's going on. That's the army Joel's describing. That's why there has never been any more after it. A fire devoureth before them, judgment, and behind them a flame burneth. The land is what? As the army of giants? No, is as the Garden of Eden before them. Right there we have it. As the Garden of Eden before them, meaning everywhere this army's going in this tribulation period, they're taking the earth back into Eden. It's being judged. The fire here is judged. The world's being judged. Everything's going to be restored back to as it was in Eden. As Eden, that's the only... In other words, this is saying they're establishing the kingdom. Adam and Eve was told to take dominion of the earth and subdue it. A command he never revoked. Just because they fell in the garden didn't mean the Father changes his mind. He doesn't make mistakes. He knew they was going to fall, and he had to let this thing play out. And behind them a desolate wilderness, yes, and nothing shall escape them. In other words, any direction you turn with these overcomers, it's judgment day. Satan and his has had it. It's not we who are in trouble. The believers are not in trouble. The world is. The appearance of them is as the appearance of horses, and as horsemen, so shall they run. You want to talk about power. Horse is a very strong animal, isn't it? These ain't normal human beings. These are not giants, people. No matter who wants to twist whatever. It's not going to work. Like the noise of chariots on the tops of mountains, nations, or shall they leap. Like the noise of a flame of fire that devoureth the stubble, as a strong people set in battle array. Oh, that's giants. No, it's not. He's talking about his army. These are not going to fall away like Israel of old. This is an army, he's talking, this is an army that's well organized. And they're well trained in the works of the cross. And now they've crossed over into the full power of Emmanuel. And believe me, they're going to do exactly as the king shows them. And we're not going to lose any battles this time. Because there's no falling away with this army. It took to the last days, as prophesied in Revelation, for it to play out. Before their faces, the people shall be much pained. All faces shall gather blackness. In other words, nobody expects an army like this. We haven't seen any walking on waters lately. Blind healed, lepers healed. We haven't seen all this power like Moses in the Red Sea. All this, people's about to be shocked out of their minds, as it says here, at this, because hence Isaiah, I'll lead the blind by a way they knew not. There's another way of saying, in a way no one expects. No one expects this. Pastor so-and-so don't know anything about it. They should run like mighty men, and that's where everyone, oh, that's the giants, because it says the giants were mighty men and mighty men of renown in Genesis. And all of a sudden, it's the giants. That's a pile of bull hockey. That's a lie. It's not what verse 11 says. He says, shall utter his voice before his army. The same army being described here, the Father says it's his army, not the giants. It's a lie. You're flat out contradicting the word. That's not what it's saying. They shall climb the walls like men of war, and they shall march everyone on his ways, and they shall not break their ranks. In other words, there isn't going to be a bunch of competition. There's not going to be strife. Everyone will see eye to eye because they made it into the full and complete redemption. Everyone's going to know their place. There's no competition over who's the big dog. How many people secretly think in their minds that they're the big dog and they're waiting in the last days for the Father to raise me up because I'm the man. I'm the number one. That's what a lot of people are secretly thinking. They're just not saying it on the YouTube and all that. But they think I'm the chosen one of the last days. Just wait for the God to show everybody how great I am. What a pile of crap. Sorry about my language, but I am sick of that. That's a lie. These people are going to know their place. Neither shall one thrust another. In other words, seeing eye to eye. There's not going to be arguing, strife, backbiting. Everyone's going to be well organized because they have been developed in the King and they see no need to compete. They're going to know their place and everyone's going to be in agreement here. Let's talk about a well-formed army. When they fall upon the sword, they shall not be wounded. Now, why is that? Are they going to shoot bullets at us? Be like Superman? Yeah. Now think about that one. In other words, as the government, let's face it. Do you think the New World Order and the police are just going to stand back and let this thing happen? They're going to come at us. That's what he's saying when they fall upon the sword. In other words, when the government tries to take this army out as we're assembling and getting started, they're going to come after us. But they shall not be wounded. In other words, they're going to try their best to take us out, but we're not going to be wounded. They're going to try to take us out, but we won't be wounded. They're going to try to take us out, but we ain't going to fail. We're going to march right forth, and they're not going to believe how the hell they can't win. That's what he's saying. They shall run to and fro in the city. They shall run upon the wall. They shall climb upon the houses. They shall enter in like the windows like a thief. What, are you a bunch of thieves now? No. Thief meaning unexpected. We come out of nowhere. That's what he's saying, like a thief. Unexpected. That's how a thief works, right? You just show up. The earth shall quake before them, and the heavens shall tremble, and the sun and the moon shall be dark, and the stars shall withdraw their shining. And then after describing this whole army and the power we're going to have, the Elohim shall utter his voice before his army, for his camp is very great. What army was just being described? Well, he says it's his army. It says it's his camp. Did it not? That's what it says. So how can he say, well, mighty men, that's the men, the giants of Genesis, they're in Antarctica and they're coming out. What a pile of crap. If there's giants going to show up, fine. We'll put them through the meat grinder when it's time. I'm not worried about those guys. Are you? I'm not worried about it. But that's not the giants. That's us. It said it's his army, his camp. It didn't say an army of giants because the words mighty men is written there, and you compare it to Genesis, and all of a sudden, that's what it has to be. An army of giants is not the Father's camp, and it's not his army. He didn't bring an army of giants. I don't care who says what. I'm reading what the scriptures say. His army's going to be mighty. Are you going to be a part of that army? It takes the overcoming. Starting with false doctrines has to go to the toilet. You got to take the false doctrines, put them in the toilet, and the Father will spiritually flush it down. Get rid of it. It's got to go. That's where it all begins. Getting rid of the lies and the illusions we have been pre-programmed to believe. The more lies gone, the more the King is in us. He's the truth. So there we go. I hope that one helped. And I hope you enjoyed the scenery. I hope the camera's a little crooked. I can't get it. It's in a bush. I'm sorry. It just can't do very well up here, but do the best I can.